been there since 2005, former South Lafourche Northwestern State quarterback, won a title with the Michigan Panthers on the USFL with the Saints, of course, 3 playoff teams, first winning season in franchise history, division championship, finished up with the Falcons. Of course, the Saints lost yesterday, you know that. I don't need to go there, he'll tell you about it. Next Monday night against Chicago on Monday Night Football. Please give a warm welcome to Bobby Hebert. Bobby?
Yeah, you know I'm not going to be short-winded for sure. So. But I'll try and hit on a number of topics. Obviously, high school football, the playoffs, and what that meant to me. We won the state championship in 1977. Didn't have any kind of classic. I never forget. We played Washita, Monroe, and Bottom went to Acadiana. So since we traveled the furthest trip, so we got home field advantage down the bayou in Galliano, and they tried to get the game in Nickel State and Thibodaux, even back in the Dome, and we were like, we already been to the Dome. The year before, we played St. Aug in the Superdome. For a quarterfinal game, one game, they had 35,000 people. So you had all Cajuns on one side, all Creoles on the other. So it was, that Dome was rocking. And that's when they didn't even have overtime. That's when they had first downs and penetrations. We were ahead, I never forget, like 9 first downs to 5 with like 6 minutes left in the game. They ran a wheel route, beat Ted Gaspard. We ended up losing like 13-6. And I didn't play quarterback till my senior year. I was a free safety. This is like a movie character. Our quarterback then, who was a senior, was named Boogie LeBlanc. That sounds like he should be playing for South Lafourche. And then what brought back a lot of memories was because of Jesuit. I never forget, I came back the next year to the state championship. Jesuit played St. Aug in the Dome. And Kenny, wasn't there like 50,000 people?
42,000.
42,000 for that game against Jesuit and St. Aug. And Jesuit had lost, and they finally won a state championship. The first one since 1960, the year I was born. But it just goes to show you when you look at tradition and Friday Night Lights and high school football, what it means to everyone, and it brings back a lot of great memories. Also, I want to acknowledge my best friend in the world who came into town, Mike Hagan. So don't hold it against him. He's from Seattle, Washington. He lives in Missoula, Montana. He played for the Seahawks in '82. He was my first roommate with the Michigan Panthers. We won that championship against Coach Mara and the Philadelphia Stars in '83. And I never forget, we both were married, had a young kid. You know, you're trying to make it, support your family. And he gets on the phone with his wife, and he didn't think I was hearing what he was saying. And he goes, in my accent, I'm telling you, it was, even though I went to school in North Louisiana, it was still thick. And he was like telling his wife, honey, I don't know, this guy, he says his name is Hebert, but it looks like Hebert or Herbert or something. And he said, I don't know if he's American. I think he's Canadian or something. You know, so he was like, look, but we've been hanging out, and like I said, we kind of joke with our wives and say, yeah, Mike and I have now been married together for 32 years. We vacation, and that's what football is all about, you know, the camaraderie and the friendships and the relationships you develop, like Coach Cameron and Coach Miles, you know, go way back. And that's what it's all about. And but he loves the Saints, but obviously the Seahawks are his first priority. And I said, of all games to come to, he comes to that Saints game yesterday. So I'm saying, you're not coming to any more Saints games at home. But he said, well, when you were playing, y'all won when I came, so I kind of gave him a free pass. But I don't know, what can I say about the Saints game yesterday? You got a lot of old school Saints fans here. I don't know, that was like J.D. Roberts in the 70s or something. It was that disheartening. And what's so hard for me is, like I said, I don't even feel like going to do this post-game show, because then I'm like the therapist, and fans think I can control what's happening. And I said, I don't know, it's bad, it's embarrassing. What more, can you say? And but it ain't over till it's over. The fat lady has not sung. I know that's what they're going to be preaching in the locker room. I mean, I'll be surprised if the Falcons beat the Packers tonight. I mean, I think the Falcons could move the ball. Look, they just had 500 yards of offense against the Arizona Cardinals, who are a really good defensive team. Just goes to show you how humbling the NFL is. Julio Jones, Patrick Peterson, who's playing unbelievable. But Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, he'd have to wake up with the flu and doesn't feel like playing. I don't see how the Falcons defense can stop the Packers. So we're still in it. We control our own destiny. So I can see it now. We win next Monday night at Chicago. Everybody's back fired up with the Falcons coming to town. Then, the records, don't matter. But I really think looking at their record, I think Carolina's going to end up being 7-8-1. So I think we got to get to 8 wins. Bottom line, I think the Falcons, after the Packers game, they got to go Pittsburgh, the Steelers. Now look at the Steelers. We crushed them, and they beat the Bengals. And it's amazing the parity in the NFL and how you got to come to play week in and week out. Now I'm going to read one thing that I thought was interesting, a quote by Zach Strief after the game that I thought was interesting, and about how, the Saints, we all remember the Super Bowl, but there's a lot of different faces. And about how mature you are as a football player, and how you handle adversity. Is it a priority for you to truly be a champion, or what it takes to be a champion? Winning or losing has to matter. It's not PE class. You play to win the game. That cliche, you hear that? No, in the NFL, it's truly not for long if you don't win, because they get somebody else to take your job. And I noticed Zach Strief, and there's something this behind the scenes in the locker room. When he said this, that he said, if you're not proud, if it doesn't mean something to you, then we've got the wrong people. He's talking about in the locker room. This team is not given anything by the organization's previous success. Man, you think you played this year? They don't care what you did last year, the year before. He said, this team is not the last 8 years. Don't stand up there and say we're owed anything or deserve anything, because we're not. We deserve to be booed out in the game? Absolutely. We played horrible. You cannot play a worse game. It's the NFL. Come on. You got to put on your big boy pants, and if you can't take the heat, you got to get out the kitchen. That's just the way the NFL is. But I was noticing and was frustrated. I'm not trying to call any players out, and I don't know what he was laughing about, but I'm going to tell you right now, he should have been laughing. They put him on the Jumbotron. The Saints are getting their butt kicked, and Akeem Hicks, the defensive lineman in the trenches, is like smiling and like joking around with the Panthers players. I don't know if that's what Zach Strief was talking about, but I'm telling you, is it a priority? You got a lot of young players, different generation, how they view football. But if you want it truly to be a way of life and you have a double-digit career, no, it does matter whether you win or lose. Not like, oh, I made it now, I'm on the team, I'm getting paid all this money. So to me, that's what's frustrating at times, where I see, not necessarily guys going through the motion or coasting, but it's not, you got to have all that mentality. And Coach Cameron will tell you with Drew Brees. No, Drew Brees, as good as he is, it's not because he's lucky or it's given to him, because he puts the work in to be at that level. Now, you have to have a skill set, but he puts the work level to get and what he's achieved. So a lot of the fans, a lot of times, that the coach and the quarterback, and you win, you get too much of the glory when you don't win. They're talking about, who's our future? I said, future? No, Drew Brees is our future. What are you talking about? You look at what Drew now, obviously it's magnified when you throw a pick six or you influence the outcome of the game. But a lot of times we wouldn't even be where we're at if it wouldn't be for Drew Brees. So I try and keep the fans in perspective, and y'all appreciate this. One fan wanted to call in. Now, everybody needs to check themselves, their ego at the door, and look in the mirror. One fan called in and one said, well, why are you not getting on Drew Brees? I said, well, have you listened to the whole show? Yes, I'm getting on Drew Brees. He's held accountable like everyone else. And then he wants to tell me this and that. I said, okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm going to tell you why your opinion's wrong. If you don't come with facts, you can have an opinion, but it's wrong. That's why, right or wrong, how I come across, it's not always maybe, God, you heard Hebert said, no, listen, I'm going to do my homework. So when I'm coming and telling you something on the air, I'm not just picking things out there and just saying something. Now, you have an opinion, but I'm coming by what I've seen, like as far as facts, and I think the fans appreciate that. Look, I told the fans, if the team's playing good, and I'm telling you they're playing good, I'm not being a homer, I'm telling you the truth. Now, if they suck, I'm going to tell you they suck, and right now they suck. And it's very discouraging, because you know why? The expectations. When you think where the Saints were at, we're in West Virginia in training camp, people from all over the country covering the Saints, This is not Louisiana, Deep South people. When they were, the Saints got a great chance to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Whoa. Think about that. It wasn't like, I hope we're competitive, we can get the double-digit wins, win the division. No, they were so confident that we were going to win the NFC or have a chance to go to the Super Bowl that I think that's why people are so discouraged. When you have high expectations, they always have high expectations at LSU. That's why if you don't get the 10 wins, people are like, freak out. And that's a good thing because, everyone's well compensated and you should enjoy the pressure and then take advantage of that opportunity you have. Because it's all about opportunities. As a player, whether it's high school, college, or professional, coach puts you in there, what are you going to do? You're going to fail or succeed, or you might have a chance to develop. You only have so many opportunities, and you got to take advantage of that. And I'll tell you right now, people want to get on Rob Ryan, what they're doing defensively. And you think he forgot how to coach overnight? No. I mean, come on. That's why I hold the players accountable. Look at yesterday in the game. Cam Newton can make a sandwich back there. I mean, do we get any pressure on Cam Newton? That was a joke. And I said, he's standing back there, and then you get Cam Newton doing well and playing with a lot of confidence. Then when you see him doing all the Superman stuff, and he's not sitting on the bench with the towel over his head. You got to discourage him. And we did not discourage him from the get-go, and the fans deserve better. But any NFL fans, but I think that's why everybody's so crushed, is because there was so much expectation with this team. And it's not over. I'm not saying, like now you said, hey, Bear, come on, you two glass half full. No, the glass is half full and has like it's leaking, two big holes, not one at the bottom. So we're trying to plug it up. And like I said, you never know. Once you're in the next tournament, the next game, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, who knows? All I know is, I don't know who's going to win the NFC West. If the Seahawks, well, they look good right now. They're going to catch the Cardinals. But if the Seahawks come to the Dome, we make them win the NFC South. Wouldn't that be ironic, considering we were 11-5 and they were 7-9? And I think this might be a good thing. The NFC South so bad, I think they should treat the playoffs like the NBA. Come on, you play everyone, so just play the best record should be able to be the home team. I think that's what might eventually come about this. Hopefully the owners, would change that. But looking at where the Saints are, the one thing, if they do make the playoffs, let's say the Eagles or something win the NFC East, I hope if the Cowboys come back to town, please. Listen, we cannot lose to the Cowgirls twice in one season. I get with all North Louisiana friends that I have, and Shreveport kind of like Cowboy Saints country. So hopefully, if it is the Cowboys, that maybe we can get that one upset in the Dome. But first things first, we got to make the playoffs. But again, now it's not going to look too good if the Falcons upset the Packers tonight. Now I don't believe that's going to happen. But maybe you can call in the show and say, hey, man, what's going to happen now? Again, always come at this time. Ken always invites me, and this is a great thing. The quarterback club, you look at the tradition, high school, college, and obviously the Saints, more of that. So thanks for having me, and any questions?
Yeah, a couple of quick things. When you're saying about expectations, you realize the Saints played 13 games and were favored in 12?
Oh, Las Vegas loves the Saints. Can you imagine the Saints were a 10-point favorite and they lost to Carolina? No, they still, now, you know what, Deke Bellavia, my partner, he is kind of in all that. I kind of like Buddy. The betting kind of is a priority, where he said no is going to affect the Saints more next season, the line. The line's kind of already reset right now, even though they've lost 4 at home. Now, it's not 100%, but they're still being influenced about what they've done in the past in the Dome and what they've done under Coach Payton. Yeah, it's amazing. Like my wife will tell me, like you see games, and I said, was it at Pittsburgh kid or something? We were favored, or it was an earlier game. I'm trying to think. It was a game we were favored. My wife said, well, how can the Saints be favored? I said, well, Vegas, they kind of know what they're doing a lot of times, but that's kind of catching up with them now on the back end.
Let me ask your opinion on this. The game's out of hands, 41-10. Drew Brees and the Stars are still in the game. For some reason, it was important.
I'm going to ask Coach Payton that tonight in the coaching show. I mean, I don't know what answer he's going to give me, but I can tell you why I think that there's 2 things. I didn't bring it in my notes, but the Saints have scored a touchdown in so many consecutive games. Now you think like, now Coach Payton's not going to admit this, about are you playing to win the game, are you playing for records, you got to look for the future. Why are you going to have Drew Brees out there and what if he got hurt? Then there's really no hope.
Yeah, let me finish.
Yeah.
And they went downfield like they're running a 2-minute drill, like they want to get into this last touchdown. They already had a touchdown, they already had 10. So Drew's streak or whatever, still good. And then they just quit. They get down to the with 50 seconds left, then they decide they're going to run the ball out with 3 timeouts on the clock.
No, that looks real suspicious, like you're trying to, extend Drew Brees' consecutive touchdown passes. The team scoring touchdowns. No, I'm going to ask him. I mean, I'm sure he'll give me, I don't know what answer he'll give me, but as from a fan, though, 2 or 3 fans called last night and go, yeah, what the game's out of hand. Not that we're trying to develop McCown or anything, but we need Drew Brees healthy. What if some freakish thing, he couldn't play against the Bears? So, yeah, I'm going to ask him tonight.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
Knowing Drew, and obviously Sean's got to make the decision he needs to make, as y'all know, you're going to drag him off the field. We had that same scenario a couple times in San Diego, and these guys are such competitors, and on game day, it's hard to describe to a world, and I know you know this, but a world-class athlete, these are the best in the world. And for them to, even think about the game is over or to surrender, it's not a part of their DNA,
Secondly, Drew got it from Doug Flutie. And Doug Flutie told him, Drew, don't you ever, because Doug had some bad experiences with that, where he got taken out, the next guy came in and Doug didn't make it back out there. So I can take you way back early in Drew's career. And I'm not speaking for these guys as much as I'm just giving you some insight. And they don't want to come out. And you got to drag these cats off the field, and ultimately they make the decisions they got to make. Everything you're saying makes sense logically, but until you're around these cats on a day-to-day basis, you can't get them. They only get to play so many games. They only get to play so many snaps. And heaven forbid he would have gotten hurt last night. But that's what makes him great. That's the edge. And Drew, I know, coming off that field, the way he's wired, and having finished the game and owning it. Now he owns every minute of that game. And the way he's wired, he's already back at work getting ready to play again, because that's so much of who they are. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, having done that for 14 years, that's what I saw with it. Ray Lewis, you tell Ray Lewis to come out of the game. All right, go ahead. Ed Reed, good luck. They ain't coming out. These are grown men. Grown men. And this is what they do for a living. And you're going to have to drag these cats off the field now. That's why they're great. I'm not saying it's right. And I'm glad he didn't get hurt. But does that make any sense?
And I like Coach Cameron saying, let me tell you one thing about Drew, and he said this in the post game. And that's why he's trying to look at the players there, look in the mirror. Come on, this is professional football. Drew's a professional. He's living, it doesn't matter the score. That's why I've been on teams who won 3 or 4 games. You see players all the time. Man, that guy's giving up. Or you don't want to be in the trenches in the foxhole with him. Are you truly a professional? You're getting paid. No matter who you're playing, what's your record, are you playing whistle to whistle? And a lot of times, there's a lot of different things that have nothing to do with the Saints' experience winning a Super Bowl. So as fans, you think, it's great. Man, it's going to, party is going to go on forever. But I'll tell you, his new challenges, Drew Brees is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Now I sound like a preacher talking about but Drew hasn't changed. Drew has not changed. And I'll tell you, Drew's the least of our worries right now. Drew right now, I'll tell you, the reason we have a chance to win. I'm telling you.
He might. We got to wrap it up.
I think the problem with this team is where they went to training camp and those country.
Well, you see, now that's a good perception, boy. I'm going to tell you why that's not true. Now, because the Cowboys are in Oxnard, California. You've been to Oxnard? I mean, the weather's like this. It's like unbelievable. You don't have 2 days no more. But the only ones dealing with the elements would be Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Miami, and now everybody LSU. You got this brand new indoor facility. Man, they don't fight it no more. You think about, we're going to have a walkthrough in the gym because it's raining, or it's like, no, they just go inside. We can have a great practice. So, now obviously, okay, because they don't tackle. In the NFL, you lucky if they do one inside goal line stance, 10 to 12 plays. And they did that when the Saints were winning 13 games. They don't hit, they don't tackle. So why do they have all these missed tackles? I don't know if it's all the money involved, obviously, because of injuries. But they ain't learned to tackle by the time they get in the NFL. And those drives fans crazy. They're putting their shoulder in there instead of wrapping up. And I know trying to save themselves so they don't get hurt. But I think that's that excuse of West Virginia. I think that is an excuse because fans are looking for something. In other words, when Coach Moore had us at Hammond, Louisiana, and Southeastern, where it was like a death march. I think we used the most IVs ever. I went from 216 to 201 in like 2.5 hours. And then you had to go take a nap and eat and lose another 14, 15 pounds. Like lose 30 pounds in one day, that's not healthy. And we were literally trying to survive training camp. When the season started, we felt like we played the whole season. And that year, I remember the Falcons came to the Dome first game and whooped us in '86. But Coach Moore, old school ex-Marine, and the doctors and the team trainers said, "Man, you got to tone down training camp. Somebody's going to die out here." We would continuously run sprints until someone fell out and started throwing up, whatever. So we look at Frank Warren and Tony Elliott, fall out, fall out. You know, start acting like you crap. You're going to keep running. So Coach Morris said, well, I'm not toning down training camp. Guess where we went? La Crosse, Wisconsin. We wake up in the morning, it was like, man, like 68, 70 degrees, like Louisiana fall days. So it is a country club atmosphere, but they still practice it. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse why I did not win it now because of West Virginia. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.